What's going on, guys? Know the Gamer 808 here. Welcome back to another video of the Know the Gamer 808 vlogs and reactions channel. In this video today, I'm going to be talking about uh, NASCAR driver Hailie Deegan, who's been fortunately released from and racing for that weekend at the street of Chicago. Uh, Before we get into that, into that topic, I do want to talk about her achievements, uh, why she was so successful back in those years before her downfall. But we're gonna actually go into it. We're gonna actually talk about Hailie Deegan, her success, and towards her downfall. But first, let's definitely get right onto it. But Hailie Deegan, um, she was born in Tuscaloosa, California, which is my state. That's where I'm from, California. So, she's my favorite driver. I've always rooted for Hailie Deegan. Been my favorite driver for quite a while. On her success since the Truck Series. So let's definitely get right onto it. But yeah, first off, she started her career in 2016 off-road racing Truck Series. That's where she made mostly her appearance in trucks because she wanted to follow her father's footsteps, being a successful driver uh, in dirt because her father's background is mostly motorbikes, motocross. That's what he mostly did. She didn't really want to do that. She did the off-road truck series for a couple years, and then she wanted to succeed in NASCAR, which NASCAR is the most popular sport in America. Um, so she started her career in the Legends cars, racing asphalt tracks, before she actually got called to be part of the Toyota NASCAR program that they were developing for the drivers, the Toyota Racing program. That's where she basically got started before Ford and all that kind of stuff, where she currently is now. But she started in the Toyota program, started in the NASCAR drivers university program, becoming the next NASCAR Future Star. So that's where she basically started, and then she moved up to ARCA. That's where her success really kicked off, where she was scoring top five finishes, top tens most of the time. She got her first win in uh, two wins actually in the ARCA West series, uh, where she did really well throughout those years, and then later got kicked out of Toyota. Toyota, I guess, didn't really out with her. So she got called up to Ford and signed with JGR Crossley Racing, which we know today as Tricon Garage, but before it was called JGR Crossley Racing. She signed that year deal with Ford, became a development driver for quite a while, and then later on, when she was doing really well, did her last race in ARCA. Then she later signed that 1 year deal with JGR Crossley Racing in 2020, just before the pandemic and everything, or pre-pandemic. She made her Truck Series debut. Um, she was doing quite okay, not doing too bad, and she went full time in the Truck Series later that year. Um, when the pandemic came around, it kind of shut down NASCAR. When NASCAR actually came back, they were limited to practice, none of that, which I think that's really hurting Hailie Deegan at the moment. There were going to be no practices, I think that's what really kind of dwindled in this situation. I will discuss towards the end of the video. But she went up to trucks, did those 3 years, didn't really get much success out of the truck series. She didn't really get really good finishes. Like she was like finishing. She finished like 19th in the truck owner standings. truck standings when she was with Forbes Motorsports Racing. Finished 19th in the standings, but her other teammates like Ben Rhodes and Crafton, they made playoff appearances. She was the only driver on that team. And Type of Jeski, I forgot the Type of Jeski. She was the only driver on that team that didn't really do well for Forza Motorsports. And then after all those years, she basically made an Xfinity Series debut. She did really well in that at Las Vegas, finishing 13th in a Stewart Haas affiliation in the '07. She finished a really good position, finishing 13th that race, being in the Xfinity Series, getting a little bit of that experience. And then she finished off her truck year in her third year in the Truck Series, where she didn't really do well. Didn't really do well, but she still did pretty good in the standings in 19th. It's still good overall. It's not terrible. It's not like dead last most of the time. But after that year in 2023, after doing a little bit better last year, it was a little tough. But she signed a multi-year deal with AM Racing December. She signed a multi-year deal with AM Racing. And then her start of her career mostly started with AM Racing. That's where she started. And most of the races, she was not really doing really. Since this is her first year in the Xfinity Series, so it probably would take her a long time just to get used to these cars. But I could totally understand that her lack of her performance in practice, I think, has been dwindling. I think that's what made her basically bring this up, right? But yeah, her performances weren't really doing well the last couple races. She did get some good finishes out of this year, mostly Las Vegas success as well from last year into this year. She finished really well as well, finishing 15th or 12th, I believe, the Las Vegas race. But in Talladega, she almost won that, but she didn't get much of a push from Riley Herbst. Kind of caused a little controversy with that. But she finished 13th, which is still pretty good. It's still a really good finish at Talladega, because Talladega is unexpected. It's an unexpected race. Anyone could win that race. But after those few races, she started to not do really. Mostly because AM Racing is mostly a team that was raced by Moffitt. Brett Moffitt raced for that team for quite a while, and then the performance was not really doing scoring top 20s, top 30s like that. They weren't really going to be much of a competitive team when they took Hailie Deegan, with mostly her struggles being a driver and getting that practice and all that kind of stuff. It's mostly what's been happening with Hailie Deegan, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she had really, really terrible performances, finishing outside the top 20, 30s, 37th in Portland, 38th at Sonoma. And mostly, it could be if it's on the driver, the equipment, all that kind of stuff. But when I watched the Street of Chicago race yesterday in the Xfinity Series, when Joey Logano took over the ride when she was actually found out about it, when she was actually going to be kicked out of that ride, I felt a little bit frustrated with it, because I know I've been a fan of hers for quite a while. I actually saw it actually come just because of her lack of performances and not getting that practice in, and then mostly finishing inside the not really good. And mostly her struggles with trucks as well, which really kind of really hurted her a little bit. So, and mostly it could be also she was promoted way too early that she needed time to readjust to the NASCAR stuff. So I could totally understand those are the probably the three main uh, why Hailie Deegan is struggling. It's what's been happening in this whole situation, basically releasing her from racing just for this one race. Um, but yeah, those are the one of the key factors about this. But when Joey Logano took over the ride for the 15 car at the street of Chicago, when she was actually kicked from that seat of not racing in the street of Chicago, Joey Logano actually finished 8th, which I'm not really surprised because he's a two-time Cup champion and does really well. I am not really surprised that Joey did a 15 car and made it actually really competitive. Qualifying really well, trying to teach the program, trying to make AM Racing better, which the vice president of AM Racing said that they were working on trying to make their cars more competitive every weekend, trying to make their program a little bit better. So day in day out. So didn't even mention Hailie Deegan if she was released from the team or she was kicked out of the team. I don't really know because I actually found out that Hailie Deegan's X page that she actually removed embracing from her mentions of her Twitter account, which was really interesting if she was let go from the team. But it does look like she is probably let go from the team, as it does look like because of her lack of performances. But I think this is not the end of Hailie Deegan. I think this is mostly a step back to make her actually better than she normally is. So I think it is a step back just to try to improve her talent as a driver. Like she had success in ARCA, so I think it's a step back. We don't know if she will be back in the car at Pocono this weekend, so we don't know for sure if she was let go. It's because it's not confirmed by AM Racing, it's not confirmed by NASCAR, but there are rumors that she was kicked out of the ride. But I don't know. We'll have to see what we have. Yeah, it is crazy. It is wild as me myself as a racing enthusiast that has supported Hailie Deegan throughout her career, watching her do really well, and watching her YouTube stuff. I always watch her YouTube stuff as a connected fan. Seeing her do really well on the YouTube side of things outside the racing, I think that's really good for her. Branches out to her audience and trying to show what she does outside the track. So it's really good for her that she's doing that, and then plus she's bringing the sponsors as well. So that might hold her back a little bit as well because she does bring the sponsors in, so that's a good thing. So we'll have to see what we find out, but let me know down in the comments down below of your thoughts and opinions on Hailie Deegan's future. Uh, it is really uncertain. I don't know where her future is in NASCAR at the moment, but it is a step back. It is frustrating to see her struggle like this. It can mostly be why because of the practice, mostly her performances, and then the lack of practice as well, and a whole lot of other things that have been going. Let me know down below. Definitely, what's your thoughts on this video? Subscribe to the channel for more content. Drop a like. Hope you guys definitely enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next